This was written, I believe, in 2014. I don't disagree with everything said here, but I'm going to talk about what I disagree with. I think this is still relevant to the Prayerman virus that's going around, and I think that this is illustrative of how the Prayerman cult virus, whatever it is, how they think and how they present their evidence. And first I'm going to deal with this part that's outlined in yellow. We think the purpose of Officer Baker meeting Oswald in the lunchroom is not about Oswald running down the stairs in time or not. It is about firmly placing Oswald at the scene of the crime, or close to it, and thus making it all possible. So here the assumption, and I write down below, the baseless assumption here is that there is a conspiratorial purpose to Marrion Baker's actions. And I say it's baseless because it is baseless. There is no reason to think, in my view, that Marrion Baker was involved in any kind of conspiracy unless you have a predetermined goal, and in this case it's to support the idea that Prayerman is Oswald. But without that predetermined goal, there's no reason to think that Marrion Baker was involved with the conspiracy, which there really was a conspiracy, but Baker wasn't part of it. Well, not only does it establish that Oswald was inside the building, it also undermines the possibility of him having been outside the school book depository building. It then shows what time he was seen in the building and where in the building he was seen and by whom. The question undoubtedly becomes, could Oswald have done it? Could he have made it in time? It also paints a picture of Oswald as a loner, not outside with his co-workers to watch the president, something that points to a sullen indifference, maybe even arrogance and guilt. So as I write underneath, Oswald was an employee, so there is no need to establish that he worked in the building. The only purpose of proving him to be in the building is to prove that he is not Prayerman. Therefore, this argument is based upon the assumption that Prayerman is Oswald. Without that assumption, this argument has no support. And going on to this, and they're talking about the second floor encounter, that is, where Baker and Truly met Oswald on the second floor near the lunchroom on the way up to the roof where Baker was going. And the authors say, we have joined the ranks of those that doubt the event ever occurred, that is, that Baker ever saw Oswald on the second floor. There is at least one ally in this line of thinking, researcher Jim DiEugenio, as he pointed out on Black Op Radio Show number 673, when Officer Marrion Baker was questioned by the Dallas police later that afternoon. He sat across the hall from the newly arrested Lee Harvey Oswald. There is no mention in Baker's affidavit on the 22nd of November 1963 of him ever encountering Oswald in the lunchroom. How could he possibly recount the events of the day and forget to mention a meeting with the man accused of killing Tippit and Kennedy, especially when he must have been questioned about it by fellow officers and his superiors? Do we think those superiors would have pointed out his forgetfulness and asked him to include the incident? And this is very dishonest or stupid. Baker doesn't mention the man he saw on the second floor because he does not yet know that this man is the same man accused of shooting the president. It's not like Baker is sitting in the room with Lee Harvey Oswald and writing up his affidavit. He hasn't seen Oswald. He doesn't know that they've arrested the guy he saw on the second floor. So he doesn't think it's important that he saw an employee on the second floor, and that's why he doesn't put it in the affidavit. At this point, Baker does not yet realize that his Oswald encounter was important. So, that doesn't mean anything. And here they talk about Baker's description of the guy he met on the second floor. In his first affidavit, Officer Baker surprisingly gave the description of the man he allegedly encountered on the third or fourth floor at 12. I should mention that in his affidavit, Baker is saying third or fourth floor, and I think it's for various reasons. It was an unfamiliar building. There were 2 flights of stairs to each floor, and he didn't think the encounter was important at the time because Truly told him he was just an employee there, I don't think it's unreasonable that he might not realize that that encounter happened on the second floor, but a lot of people like to make hay with that. Starting over again. In his first affidavit, Officer Baker surprisingly gave the description of the man he allegedly encountered on the third or fourth floor at 12:31 p.m., and that's not the time either, as being approximately, even the official story has it after 12:31, and it's probably more like 12:32 and 30 seconds, but people like this, they pretend to have everything precisely known so that it makes them seem more impressive, and it also sometimes it makes a big difference in their argument, whether their argument could be true or not. But anyway, at 12:41 p.m., as being approximately 30 years old, 5 foot 9 inches, 165 pounds, dark hair, and wearing a light brown jacket. Why should he be so lucky to remember the description of the man and put it in the affidavit when the foreman, Roy Truly, had asked Baker to disregard him because he was one of the workers in the building? It gets more intriguing when we understand that Baker's description is very near the description that will go out over the police radio 12 to 13 minutes later. White, slender male, dark hair, in his 30s, weight 165 pounds, height 5'10". Now here they're baselessly connecting the description that went out over the radio to Baker, and they're saying it's part of some preconceived plot, that both were given from the same source. That is, Baker was told to say what he said, just as the guy on the radio, Harkness, was told to say what he said. But there's no basis for that. As I write here they are trying to have it both ways. Baker's description doesn't match Oswald, they say, and yet they also say that he is lucky to remember the description so well. Well, if he's lucky to remember the description so well, maybe he didn't remember it so well. Maybe that's why it doesn't match Oswald so well. See, they're just this is not reasoning. This is bullshit. Maybe the reason that the description doesn't match Oswald perfectly is that Baker did not think that the encounter was important, as they themselves say. And moving along, still none of these descriptions really portrayed Oswald, who was indeed 5'9" tall, but weighed only 131 pounds, was only 24 years old, and did not have dark hair but light brown receding hair, and was wearing a brown-orange shirt. And as I wrote here, when he is under arrest by the DPD, Oswald is said to be 140 pounds, not 131. I don't know where they got 131 pounds. It sounds like they just made that up because they wanted him to weigh a lot less than Baker said he did. Earl Rose, the guy that did the autopsy, estimated him to be 150 pounds. So it's unlikely that he gained 10 pounds before his autopsy. You might call the hair light brown, but you might also call it dark hair without mentioning the color. Both are correct. And yes, if you want to say what kind of a brown it is, it's a light brown, but that doesn't mean it's not dark hair. See, it's just bullshit. They're not really reasoning. When Oswald is later seen wearing his shirt, he is wearing it out. By that I mean he doesn't have it tucked in, and also he doesn't have it buttoned all the way up to his neck. It looks like it might be a jacket that's partially open, and upon recollection somebody might think it is a jacket, especially if the witness did not think that the encounter had been important. But we don't really know what shirt Oswald was wearing at the time, since he said that he changed his shirt at Beckley. In his police interrogations, at one point he says he changed his shirt. He did go to Beckley, and some people argue he didn't go to Beckley, but he did go to Beckley, and he could have changed his shirt, and maybe he didn't change his shirt. I don't know. But you can't be sure that the shirt he was arrested in was the same shirt that Baker saw. So if you've got a problem with it being the same color, then, and also, if Baker didn't think it was an important encounter, he might have the color off a little bit. He said brown, and they themselves say it was brown and orange, a brownish orange thing. So I don't think they're saying anything at all here for their case. I think they're just bullshitting. But wait, there's more. Officer Baker's actions on that day in question are quite interesting. At a time when nearly all witnesses on Elm Street ran towards the picket fence up on the grassy knoll because that's where they thought the shots had come from, Baker quickly made his way to the book depository in that pursuit of the policeman. In that pursuit, the policeman was practically alone. Now here they're not accurately representing the sequence of events. Officer Baker got off his bike and started towards the building before people started running up towards the overpass. But they're pretending that this was happening while he was looking down the street. Well, he was looking down the street, and he saw people down, and he saw somebody, a police officer, probably Hargis, run across the street or something. But he didn't see the people running up to the overpass as they represented here. Would it not be reasonable to assume that when he parked his motorcycle, Officer Baker must have seen, heard, or understood the situation of shooters on the knoll? No, it would not. Apparently he ignored that and scurried to the depository building because he had heard 3 shots, allegedly seen a flock of pigeons take off from the roof. Well, he heard the shots from above and in front of him, and above and in front of him there were 2 buildings, and one of them was the Texas School Book Depository, and that's where he saw birds fly off, so that's the building he picked. Perfectly reasonable, and in the situation Baker's in, it's perfectly reasonable for him to think the shots came from the building and not from the grassy knoll. They're just not being reasonable here in their argument. We find it suspicious that Officer Baker, in deciding where to focus his attention, placed more trust in pigeons rather than in people, and they're just so full of shit here that I want to smack them in the face. As a cop, he should have been able to make a better judgment call and possibly have aimed to protect people running into danger, because how would he know the shooting had stopped? Well, he thinks the shooting's coming from the building and he's running into danger in order to stop the shooter, so I don't think you can fault Baker here at all. As it was, Baker made some sort of perfect mistake. He didn't go to where the shots most likely had originated. Instead, he went to where the shots officially had come from. When the Warren Commission questioned Marrion Baker in 1964, there were several interruptions while going off the record. Eugenio suggests the scene with Baker encountering Oswald in the second-floor lunchroom is at the very least suspicious. I think they are completely full of shit, and I've already said I don't need to read what I wrote there. And it's all about Prayerman. They think it's Oswald here, standing in front of the building, very shortly before Baker runs into the building. Even if that were the case, he still could have gone into the building first and gone up to the second floor. But even if you want to be charitable to them, that's a reasonable thing to think, that's the only reason they're saying any of this shit that I've covered. It's because they already know in their minds that that's Oswald, and therefore all of this other shit makes sense to them. But if you don't think that's Oswald, then what they just said there is all bullshit. And it's not Oswald. This is a woman, an old lady, a fat old lady, and I think it's this one right here, because in both photos, if it's not at the same time, one is several minutes after, the color photo is several minutes after from the Martin film, but this woman holds her hands in a very peculiar way, and it's in both pictures. The hands are up in exactly the same way. It's from the other side, so it may look a little different, but her left hand is held up higher than her right hand. She's got, it's in the quality of the photography here, it looks like her right hand is a fist or something, and she's got that held up like she's about to punch somebody, and the other hand is up higher like she's holding on to the lapel of her, or I don't know if it's a lapel, but holding on to her clothing or something. She's standing on the steps. She holds her hands in the same way. That doesn't prove it's the same person, but I think it probably is. And if it's not her, it's some other old lady, because it's a large individual. It's not 131-pound Oswald. It's not even 140-pound Oswald. It's not even 165-pound Oswald. It's some old lady standing in the doorway. But they want it to be Oswald, so they make Marrion Baker into a dirty, stinking, lying cop. That's the kind of fellas these guys are.